what's up? Welcome back to this Listen With Me. I am so excited you're here. For all you Weezer fans out there, you've been waiting a year for this album. It is here, it's finally out. It's called Van Weezer. And in case you can't tell from the album artwork, it is definitely a classic rock album. I actually am obsessed with their pop album, Pacific Daydream. You know, it's the one that had that song that was like, turn it up, bit beat boy, step it up, beat boy. I'm done. Step it up, beat boy. Okay, bye. See, I scared my cat away. I don't want to make you feel old, but I'm pretty sure Weezer's first album came out in 1994, and the first Gen Z person was born in 1997. So Weezer has been around before Gen Zs existed. Yeah, I know. But anyway, I'm super excited for this album. For those of you that are new here, welcome, love you. Thanks for checking out this channel. My name is Dano, I'm a singer-songwriter. The reason I started to do these Listen With Me's is because the best way that I learn how to write music is by listening to other people who do it very well. And I have a little notepad and jot down all the cool things that I thought that this artist did in each song, which gives me like a library of ideas so that when I go to write a song, I have this library of ideas. If you're not a singer-songwriter, I think you're still really gonna enjoy it because we're gonna have fun, hang out, and listen together. I've got myself a little snack, so go get yourself something, go get yourself something to drink, and let's dive right in. First up, we got Hero. Yes! Yes, this album is gonna be insane. I am just so ready and excited for it. Okay, I have a lot to say about that song. My commentary isn't gonna be this long for all the ones, but I do have a lot to say about that one particular song. So the first thing I just wanna comment on, because I know the whole album is gonna take this kind of feel where it takes you back to the classic rock genre. Now, when I'm talking to other independent artists, I hear this all the time, that people are like, no one listens to emo anymore, and that's the music I like to write. Or like, no one listens to this style anymore. Or I really like music from the 60s. Write music then from that genre, that era, whatever it is that is most compelling to you. Write music in that style, and I promise, if it's something you want to hear, then it's something that someone else also wants to hear. So I just want to keep that in mind because Weezer is doing a really fantastic job of having the classic rock, old school sound back into a very modern way, and it is just perfect. It is perfect. And by the way, Bruno Mars did that in Leave the Door Open. It was so 70s, and everyone loved it. He was able to modernize it, and I think that that's exactly what Weezer is doing here. So anyway, follow your dreams, kids. So another thing I wanted to mention is if you heard in the second verse, all the instruments dropped out except for the drums. So the second verse was just the drums and the vocals. And guys, I'm gonna call you out a little bit because I can't tell you how many times that I hear bands play, and for the entire show, every single person in the band played every single measure from the entire show. And what that tells me is that the band actually didn't take time to like create an arrangement that actually works for the song. And I think sometimes people have a hard time just like standing there and not playing guitar for a second because the drums are gonna carry this section. So my like word to the wise, take it from Weezer, not from me. A great way to have some contrast in your song is by just having the guitar and the bass drop out for a hot second. They'll come back in, it's fine. But it does create that contrast into the second verse. It pulls us back a little and then opens up that much more for the chorus. The chorus arrives and it's so much more exciting. Also, I love me a good build-up. They are easier said than done, if that makes sense. So I always like to try to hear what other bands and artists are doing to create that buildup. And what I loved here is you had the guitar part that was like dun 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 dun. And because it was just that, you knew something was coming. You're like, all right, when's it coming? When's it coming? I want to hear it. And then it stops out and you're dead silent and you're like, ah! And then it's like, poof. That is the moment where the whole audience like dances and drops. So they did a really awesome job at building that excitement. It makes it so much fun to listen to. So when I'm writing my own music, I'm always thinking about those moments that can really be a point of interest for the listener. The last thing, speaking of that, is the woes at the end. That is such a great way to get your audience to be singing with you, because they don't have to know the words. They just know the whoa. You do something repetitive and it's kind of like a rocking out together at the end. A great way to engage your audience. And I promise if you do stuff like that, you're really gonna have some kick-ass shows. And by the way, that's something that Queen did when they were writing their music. They strategically had the audience in mind as they're writing their music. And that shows so much. Like, the fans love to go to the show because it's fun for them. The music was designed for them to have fun. So anyway, Weezer did a kick-ass job at that. I cannot wait for the rest of this album. I guarantee it's gonna be just as good as that first song. So anyway, up next we have All the Good Ones. My hands look so big when I do that. Ah! Sorry, I'm chewing, and then I'll tell you how I feel about the song. Another badass song. Rivers Cuomo is just an amazingly talented musician, and it shows. All right, so the first thing, there was a lot of variation in this song. Actually, in the first verse, even just the tone of the bass changed from the first half of the first verse to the second half of the first verse. It got a little crunchier, so it kind of like had a little weight added to it, which I thought was really cool. It's a very subtle thing, but that keeps engaging for the listeners. Like, if they just heard that bass part for the entire verse, it would get boring, but now they were able to kind of switch it up a little so that it's a little more exciting for the listener to hear. Now, there was also a lot of contrast going into the second verse. I loved that part where like all of the instruments dropped out and you had like dun, 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 dun. First, there was a lot of contrast between that and the other song because the instrumentation was different. You had that heartbeat, which is the first time you had a drum sound like that. Normally you had like your good old regular kick. And then it was variation because I'm pretty sure, I wasn't counting out the measures, but I'm pretty sure that the actual song structure, there were some more measures in that verse than the second one. So it was able to create that point of interest. It's different, it's unexpected. You're not thinking that it's gonna happen, and that's why it's exciting for a listener. I can't tell you, like, and I'm totally guilty of this, but I always have this check for my songs. If I'm like copying and pasting sections, it's really important to make sure that you do have that variation. All right, two other super quick things that I wanted to mention is that I loved the like subtle choir little effect that they threw in there. Like the first time it was before the chorus and then they had it again later in the song. I don't know, totally random, but I love it. And so I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my mind when I write my own music. Maybe just gotta throw in a little sound effect, like a little angel choir. All right, the very last thing I wanted to mention is I loved how the synth part followed the vocal part in the chorus. Super dope. It just like makes the whole song sound cohesive and really accentuates that part. So absolutely loved it. All right, let's move right along. Up next, we have The End of the Game. Oh, this is so old school. I'm such a loser. Yes, love it, love it, love it. Okay, just a few quick things I want to say about that. The guitar taps in the beginning, yes, let's go. Let's go. Loved it. That was so awesome. I also loved, and they did it in the beginning and then they also did it in the end, I think after the bridge, but how the, like the drum just like, with the bass part. I don't think I'm making any sense, but anyway, I hope you get what I mean. I thought it was really cool when the drums and the bass aligned and it was like the drum hits and the bass hit at the same time. Also, did you guys catch that Island in the Sun reference? Very dope. So there was also one part where they kind of did like this build up thing, and you know that happens all the time when songs like get ready for the drop or the chorus, they do a little da 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 da. I mean, we talked about it before, but honestly, most of the time when I hear it in songs, it's 4 beats, so it's like da 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 da, you know? And so then for this, I think it was the second chorus, but I'm not sure. They actually had that be 8 beats instead of 4, so I was like expecting it to drop and it didn't, so it was like da 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 da. Anyway, just something like that. It's very simple, but anytime you catch your listener off guard, it's a point of interest. It kind of like wakes them up from their slumber if they were getting ready to zone out. So just like subtle things by doing it a little bit differently than the audience might expect is a great way to keep your listener engaged. I also loved that the feel of the bridge really changed. That was a great way to create some contrast. I mean, you just had you like swaying, where the rest of the song you're like, yeah, yeah. And then in the bridge you like sway a little. So that type of contrast I thought was really great and really fun to hear as a listener. Last thing I want to mention is, did you guys get like rock and roll is bitchin' vibes from that? Because I totally did. But anyway, up next we have I Need Some of That. Here we go. Harmonies, yes! Yes, another gem. Every song on this album is gonna be good. I already know that. But I feel like Weezer really knows their target audience. They know that the people that listen to Weezer are the people that like classic rock and that are kind of in this phase of our life where we're like feeling a little old. So I love the lyrics about listening to Aerosmith and Never Gonna Grow Up. I think it's awesome because they know who their target audience and who they're writing music for. It like connects with us so much more. So I'm totally guilty of this, but I think that sometimes musicians try to like cater to everyone. Like they want everyone to like their music. But I think that if you can really find out like who the person is that you want to enjoy their music and like find out what they like, what they don't like, and all that fun stuff, you can like write all these songs that are really gonna connect with them on a deep and personal level. And this is just that. I'm gonna be honest, maybe there's some like younger kids that are like gonna bump Weezer and really like it, but you know, people that are in like their 30s and 40s, I think are really, really gonna resonate with this album. But anyway, again, Rivers is just a contrast master. I love the contrast between the intro and the first verse. Anything like that that kind of shakes you up and wakes you up is just a great way to keep your listener engaged. And keeping them like focused on something for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take, is really, really difficult. So I think that they do a fantastic job of having these songs. Like, I can't believe how fast we're flying through this album, and it's just because the songs are so good. But also, can we talk about how dope those harmonies were in the chorus? I'm a sucker for good harmonies. If you watch me on Listen With Me, anytime they're cool harmonies, you're gonna see me lose my shit because I love me a good, dope harmony, and the harmonies on this were just mwah, beautiful, fantastic. Anyway, let's move right along. Up next, we have Beginning of the End. It's the beginning of the end. I love that line. Woo! That was fun. All right, dope. So I love that they kind of started this song with like a sample. That's the first time I think that they did this on the album yet. So definitely a cool way to start a song. And it also, again, you do have that contrast between that and the very first verse when like you had all these sounds that just like boom, pulled back and you kind of get like a muffly sound where I'm pretty sure it's just guitar and vocals. So I thought that that was a really cool way to start the song. Also in the verse, they did an octave layer with the voices. So there was the high part and the low part, and they were an octave and they just sang in unison. I think that's a great technique to have some texture and to add some, you know, added layers to kind of make it sound more full. So love when I hear artists do that. Also, can we talk about that lyric in Heavy Metal We Trust? Because I feel like I can see that on t-shirts and everywhere, and like that there should be memes about it because that's hilarious. So the last thing that I just want to mention is that there was a change in rhythmic feel. I think it was like leading up to the bridge, there was that instrumental section. So if you're listening to the song and you're like, da, 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 and then all of a sudden it goes, da, 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 that change of feel just creates a fun thing for the listener to keep them engaged. And I keep saying that a lot, but they are just masters at keeping listeners engaged. Also, there was that unexpected chord. I think it was right at the end somewhere, maybe right before the last chorus, and it caught me off guard as a listener. Again, surprise me and I'll be excited. So definitely a cool thing for them to do. All right, up next we have Blue Dream. Oh my God, God, the Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train reference. That was such a good idea. I am just like blown away. I thought that they just did it in the most perfect of ways. What a tribute. They nailed this album. You can tell that Weezer has just had so much fun writing and working on this album, and it shows, and it is like so much fun to listen to as well. And like honestly, I want to go to a Weezer show so bad just to hear them play this album live. And actually, like, now that I'm thinking about it, it totally makes sense that they pushed their release date back a year because of COVID. Because I was like, when I first found that out, I was like, I wonder why they just don't release it. Like, everyone would love to listen to music now that we're like staying at home and can't do anything. But this album was made to be toured. Like this was made for live performances. It's just like so fun and engaging for the crowd. So I totally understand why they had to make that decision. But also the end of the song was so rock and roll. I love it. It's just, they are just nailing the classic rock and roll vibes. And I think it is so refreshing to audience that kind of grew up on this music. Just to have it kind of back and have new music in that style from an artist that we love and trust is just like really fun and exciting. It's like a little gem out there. So I know that I'll be listening to this album on repeat for sure. It is so freaking good. Anyway, up next we have one more hit. I love key changes more than anyone on planet Earth. All right, that's it. I have to go see Weezer in concert. As soon as I'm done filming this, I'm going online. I'm searching for tickets, and I really hope that they are playing in my area. If you want to come with me, hit me up. All right, let's go. Let's all go to the Weezer show. It's just gonna be kick ass. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll start from the beginning, where they had like the crunchy kind of like sexy guitar. I just loved the feel of that riff in the beginning, but I really like the dun, 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 kind of like guitar riff in the beginning, and then the vocals were kind of in a lower register, and it just gave it like that really sexy feel. So I absolutely love that. And can we talk about all the other super cool things in the song, which is how they slowed the tempo to go into that instrumental section. What? That was so dope. That was so dope. And again, I just can't think about how much fun this would be if I was watching them live. Like, I bet you seeing them live is just gonna blow this out of the water. Their live performance is going to be kick-ass. I know it. I feel it in my heart. And I know I screamed about it when it happened, but I love key changes. That key change was in the perfect spot. I was not expecting it at all. I am a sucker for key changes. Like, there's that one Whitney Houston song that like it changed key like 3 times in the song. That's the kind of energy that I need and want in my life, okay? All right, we're in the home stretch here. Up next, we have Sheila Can Do It. And guys, if Sheila can do it, so can you. All right, another great song. Very important question for you, okay? Do you know who Sheila is? If you do know who Sheila is, can you tell me in the comment? Because I don't know who Sheila is. Is Sheila even a real person? And how come if Sheila can do it, I can do it? I need to know. These are the life's questions that I have, okay? But you know what? That's all I have to say about that song. The whole time I was just thinking about, I wonder who Sheila is, and I wasn't really paying attention because I didn't know who Sheila was. And I could have Googled it. I could have. But I didn't. I didn't do that. Anyway, up next we have She Needs Me. Alright, I got way too into it at the end. Oh my gosh, this whole album is just like lighting my soul on fire. I'm so happy. When the song started off, I like swore, I was like, oh, we're gonna have a ballad because we haven't had a ballad on the entire album yet. But nope, it was not a ballad, just a soft intro. But again, you know that Weezer is just really good at contrast, so it was a great way to have some contrast from the beginning of the song to the rest of the song. Also love the guitar solo. I mean, if you're doing classic rock, you have to have the guitar solo, right? And I don't know if you guys caught, but there was a lyric in there, "free as a bird." I do not think that's a coincidence. I think that was a little Freebird plug, and honestly, I am not a huge classic rock listener. I guarantee that if like someone who really knows classic rock, if they listen to this and like comb through, I bet there are little nuggets and gems scattered all over this album. So if you are a classic rock fan, you are just gonna like go bananas over this album. It's so good. But anyway, we have one song left, and guys, I gotta do the shameless plug. If you have made it this far, first, I love you so much. Can we like hang out all the time? And you know, anytime you want to come hang out and listen to albums with me, I'm your girl, okay? But anyway, if you could hit the subscribe button, that helps me so much to grow this channel, and I love you for it. I'm so grateful. And lastly, I run a completely free private Facebook group for independent musicians. So if you are an independent artist and you would love to connect and network with other independent artists, the link is in my description. I would love for you to join us and hang out with us. It's a really fun group. But anyway, we got one song left. I'm like so sad that this album is ending, but we are ending on Precious Metal Girl. All right, here we go. Ooh, acoustic. Stop it. Just stop it right now. Oh, the song is adorable. Jasmine, you're my precious metal girl. Yay! What a great way to end the album. Can I pretend that song was written for me? Can every girl who hears this is gonna pretend that song was written for them? Oh my gosh, that was so good, so good. All right, so we got the ballad. The first song we had acoustic guitar. That was the only instrument, just acoustic guitar and vocals. There was that one part where the guitar dropped out and Rivers was just like whispering sweet melodies in your ear, and it was so intimate and captivating. But anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on the album, so please tell me in the comments below. Please be my friend on Instagram. I want to hang out with you and connect, and so anyway, find me on there and say what's up. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Trust yourself, be yourself, love yourself. You got this. Mwah. I love you, and I'll talk to you later.